Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to another indie book review. I actually got to the sequel of this one really quick because I spent so long to read the first, and that is Run with the Hunted, Ctrl Alt Delete by Jennifer R. Donahue. This is the sequel to Run with the Hunted, and it is actually from a different character's point of view, which I really enjoyed. So the first one involves 3 diamond thieves, and of course I will have that review in the description if you're interested. And the first one was much more about the classic globe-trotting fashionista Bristol, which admittedly was a character archetype that is like so different from me. I don't care what perfume I wear in the rain. But in this one, it is told from the point of view of Bits, the hacker tech guru run, and she's not having a good time. Dolly, the kind of like arms specialist, finds her having been submerged in VR for a shockingly long... Hi?
Brought you a Starbucks.
Oh, thank you. Can I get back to the review now?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a Starbucks. Anyway, so it's told from Bits' point of view in this VR virtual reality where like she's like in a chair and there's like an IV and everything, and she comes back and she has severe memory loss. And I really appreciated this because the amnesia type storyline honestly felt very valid here in a way that it often doesn't in books, because she didn't totally forget everything but who she is and who am I. She forgot points of time, and she had like vague-ish memories, or she could tell they might have done something before, but it was these giant spaces that were just gone, and she's not sure if it was because of the long VR like term or if it was because of something else. And on the way, Dolly wakes her up because they have to go on a rescue mission. And it was very, very, very fast-paced. Even more so than the first one. I mentioned in the first one that while it was a novella, it didn't feel too short. Some novellas can feel like novels that were made shorter, whereas the first one felt like a novella. This one suffered a little bit more from, I could have had more. The action-packed scenes seemed back to back to back to back, and there wasn't a lot of time really to dwell on, especially Bits and her struggles with memory. She had to repeatedly jump back into this AR, which I believe is augmented reality, wherein she had contacts that kind of like connected to the web and she could like access things, and it's a very futuristic rendition. This showed a lot more tech and a lot more sci-fi aspects than the first one did. It was just a lot more, and that might cause an issue for someone who is a newbie to sci-fi reading it, because I mentioned in the first one's very accessible. If you don't read a lot of sci-fi, it's a fairly standard heist story, but their tech is like next gen. It's more totally spies than cyberpunk, for example. In this one, it was much more futuristic. There was some allusions to like the wasteland that used to be this verdant forest, aka talking about things like severe climate change and a climate disaster. So this one feels much more sci-fi-esque than the first one, and as a result, it's not as beginner-friendly as the first one. But there was also more in that kind of found family aspect. In the first one, the trio felt definitely like old business partners. It definitely feels like they've been working together for a long time, but it didn't necessarily feel like much more than that. Like, I don't think it's just that, like, yeah, they'll get together for a job, but then afterwards they kind of just go off on their own way. This one, because of the rescue mission, because of Bits' struggle with her memory, and because of some further background into Dolly's world and life, you got a lot more sense of caring between the three and a lot more sense of looking out for each other. So that found family aspect was much stronger in this one. In general, this one was just more. And admittedly, the reveal of what was causing Bits and her amnesia or her memory problems felt slightly underdeveloped, or at least underexplained. And it is hinted at, they do bring it up before the reveal. She does think about, oh, remember this time, this one thing, and then it's revealed that, oh yeah, that thing. But in general, I almost kind of wanted an exposition dump, which is weird for me. I don't usually like exposition dumps, but I almost feel like someone being like just having to verbally explain it to another character would have had it laid out much more succinctly and simply than Bits coming to the realization in her own head instead. But in general, I did really appreciate this one. It's still a very nice writing style. It definitely felt different than Bristol. You can definitely feel the voice of Bits a lot more. She is also a lot closer to who I am as a person, I think. Although I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out on Dolly being the one that I connect the most to. And I believe the third book, which I am absolutely sure that I will end up reviewing at some point, although I probably won't go as quickly because now I can kind of relax knowing that, like, I've gotten 2 of them done. Hers would inevitably be the third one in the trilogy, and I'm really looking forward to that. I low-key want to see some characters from the first one come back because they weren't in this one, but I don't know. In general, this one, if you read the first one on my recommendation because you were a sci-fi newbie, this one's going to be a bit of a learning curve. It also, again, it felt a little too short and fast for the material involved. The things that were brought up could have easily been a full novel if stretched a little bit further, but I still appreciated reading from Bits' point of view and seeing a lot more of the tech. I like sci-fi, so I definitely do enjoy all of the world building, and it just felt like a lot compared to what minimal world building you see in the first one. But in general, I gave it 4 stars. Still a great sci-fi pick. Still a great heist type story if you like those. And in general, I would definitely recommend it. Now, if you are an indie author and you would like a review like this one, please send me an email. I will have my email down in the description below. Not sure how many spots I have open, but I've been keeping my head above water more or less. So if I keep at it, I may not have to close as soon as I was afraid of. So, shoot your shot. Regardless, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.